Hey, Scott Jordan and Mark Warner here for Jancast number 145 for Thursday, May 4th. It's already May 4th, 2023. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Everything has been looking sunny.
Yeah, after all the rain, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention we have a special guest that you can see on the screen, right, Mark?
Yeah, I'm really thrilled that we have the opportunity to have a conversation with Blair Thomas. Blair, most of you would know, Blair is a star coming out of Penn State University, my alma mater. Yay! And I went from there right into the NFL, played for the Jets and the Patriots and Cowboys, Falcons.
Did Blair hang out with you at when you were?
Yeah, we hung out together. We were
all the time.
I wish I could say that. Blair was one of the cool kids.
Yeah, and you weren't.
But I try to be a cool kid. Yeah, I work at that. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, we'll get into Blair in a little more detail, but you just came back from a trip to the HQ, the old HQ, right?
Yeah, so that was actually quite gratifying and flattering. So there was a ISSA, Cleaning Management Institute training event that was being hosted at the ISSA headquarters in Chicago. And I was asked to be the instructor for that. So It was a 3-day supervisor boot camp, which focuses on the strategic elements of cleaning teams and so on. And there's a lot of other things that come into play there, you know, a little bit of leadership and coaching and all of that. So I left there feeling quite inspired. It's very often when you're asked to be an instructor, you're always amazed at how much you actually learn from everybody in the audience. And it was really a great experience.
You had some big players in your course too, right?
Yeah, there were a number of folks that represented companies that have their owners and CEOs on the board of directors of the ISSA.
Yep.
The global director of education, training, and certification and standards, Branton Serro, who's been on previous shows, personally asked me to do this program. So yeah, it was a very high-end guest list, full house, about 25 people in auditorium, and the pressure was on to perform. So I think I did okay.
Good. Did you get to have any deep dish pizza?
I did, as a matter of fact. They catered meals every day, and that worked out really nice. So thanks for asking.
During the pandemic, when we typically at the ISSA show have the past president's lunch, and we couldn't have it the 2020 when they canceled the show. So we had the past president's lunch remotely, and the ISSA shipped to all the past presidents a frozen pizza, deep dish Chicago pizza.
There you go. Chicago's famous for that.
Yeah.
The more interesting thing that came out of it, and what I learned from the group, was just how of all the challenges they find in the world strategically with building their businesses and learning the tactics of cleaning and all the nuances of it, their biggest challenges these days had to do with the economic market and labor shortages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that ties in this voluminous Contracting Profits magazine I got here. There is a great article about the BSE market position for 2023 coming out of 2022, and the interesting thing they're talking about, one of their growth areas is in this, again, so this is for the building service contractors, is in the transportation field, which I thought was interesting to target that specifically. Commuter levels are increasing, so the demand's rising 80% over the previous year. So they're looking at doing a lot more in that. Plus, as they call it, the recreational facilities, which would be indoor facilities such as movie theaters, bowling alleys, all that is going to boom as well. But the most important, 77% of the respondents suggest that they're having difficulty finding reliable labor. So that kind of ties in with what we want to talk to Blair a little bit about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of, to jump to the chase there.
Yeah.
Blair's been doing an awful lot of work within the community as a public speaker. He's been asked to speak at all kinds of events regarding career path development and entrepreneurial activities. But with all that said, Blair, I want to kind of do a shout out to you and kind of talk about, who is Blair Thomas. And realistically, if you don't know who Blair Thomas is, you live under a rock. He was an all-star football player at Frankfurt High here in Philly. But more important to me is that he went to Penn State, played for Joe Paterno, ended up winning games. He got 2 MVPs while you were there. In fact, I was kind of amazed, Blair, to hear your story about having the opportunity to turn pro after your junior year because of a stellar junior year under Joe Paterno, and you declined it and decided to go back for your senior year. And as a result of that, you ended up, getting the MVP awards. You ended up getting a record within the Nittany Lions, all-time rushing, record-setting year. And I think I also heard that it made you a viable candidate for the Heisman Trophy. Like, holy smokes, man. That's so awesome. But, what all that did is it put you into the drafts, and we're just have come out of the NFL drafts for this year. And, it had everybody on planet Earth engaged. And, Blair, you were first round, second pick. Like, wow. Like that was like day one before the first commercial even plays. So that was really awesome. And the other little statistic I got out of that is that you got drafted by the Jets, and the Jets declined this nobody called Emmitt Smith in order to get Blair Thomas. And so, I mean, wow, that's just so awesome.
Yeah, I wish the roles were a little bit reversed, and I got drafted later and had his offensive line.
Yeah, how about it? Yeah, you never know how that's going to play out. But, after that, you went to the Patriots, you went to the Cowboys, and you and I were chatting a little bit before we started recording that I remember one of the most famous games I remember of Blair Thomas was Cowboys against Green Bay Packers in divisional playoff. And Emmitt Smith was out there and he got injured. And I remember going, oh, wow, what's going to happen? And they bring in this guy named Blair Thomas, who then comes in, makes 2 touchdowns, and they crush Green Bay Packers 35-9. Like, holy smokes. I remember that game, Blair. But anyway, he went from there to the Falcons and the Panthers. But I think the thing that intrigues a lot of folks here at the Bullen companies is the fact that you came from Philadelphia. You've actually been a running back coach at Temple University. Yeah. For 8 seasons, and then all the work that you do to help people both in their career path development and in entrepreneurial activities. And I know that it's not just limited to Philly. Weren't you recently up at Lehigh Career Technical Institute up in the Lehigh Valley?
Yes. We spent some time up there, and just to sum up, to bring it full and give some more color to it, I had the opportunity to actually leave school after my senior year because I sat out my entire senior season because I had the knee injury. So I came back for the fall of my 5th season at Penn State. So yes, but one of the reasons why I decided to stay is because I promised my mother that I would graduate before I left school. Nice. So it seemed like my career kind of went exactly like I dreamt it as a young kid. Wanted to play in the NFL, wanted to walk away on my own 2 feet, but I forgot to give it a little bit more color. I should have said after going to 5 Super Bowls or winning 2 of them and playing in 5 Pro Bowls. So I didn't give it enough color. But yes, that has brought me up to the point where I've always been involved in giving back. And the way we were taught at Penn State, it was a team atmosphere. So you have to teach those younger players, because someone gets an injury, that younger player has to be ready to step up and keep on, toting the line. So I was always in a giving spirit. And after I got finished playing, I started coaching right away at Temple University, like you mentioned, spent 8 seasons there. And I didn't want to get on that coach's caravan where you jump from one team and then you had another team and then the next year you had another team. So I wanted to stay in the Philadelphia area. I had 2 young kids in the area, so I wanted to make sure I was around for them. But I always did a lot of stuff giving back. You mentioned, going up to Burroughs, Alaska. I've been to Canada coaching. I've been to Alaska coaching. So I'm always been in that giving spirit. So going up to Allentown to the that community center that trade center for today was just outstanding to see some of those kids being taught of things that we're going to need to do for people in the future.
Yeah. The cool thing about that class, Blair, and you were an inspiration to everybody there, my friend. I'm telling you that. But these were kids that were in the K through 12 sector. So they weren't out of high school yet. And they're actually getting certified on concrete diamond polishing. And each and every one of them came out of that certification class with an opportunity for immediate employment, which as soon as they graduate. So there's such a demand, as Scott, you were talking about, labor shortages. And it was sponsored by not only the Bullen companies, but Curecrete and Aztec Equipment Company. And it was done really gratis by all these companies to try to do something to help the kids. And some of the kids had challenges. Some of them had some physical challenges. And it's just awesome to be able to put a hand out and help somebody move forward. And, it kind of goes back to you really want to help somebody with career path development. You don't hand them a career. You don't hand them a fish. You teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened that day. The Curecrete guys came in there, did an excellent job it was hands-on experience is what I like. Even they were younger kids still in high school, they still got a chance to operate the diamond, buffer. Each of them got a chance to see how it actually feel in, real application.
Well, I'm fascinated that you're fascinated with the cleaning industry. I think that's so awesome, and I know that there's other elements of the cleaning industry that you've kind of gotten real excited about. Things like the things that we do for different types of floor care as it relates to even to gymnasiums and schools and things like that. And also some of the things that have to do with the air we breathe. I know you've had a background within trying to improve indoor air quality, and that kind of segues with some of the things that the Bullen companies do. We've been always all about improving indoor air quality and eliminating not only infectious elements in the air, but even odd odors, Scott. I'm just guessing.
Well, hey, you know what we forgot to mention, that Blair is a representative of the Bullen company. So for those of you tuning in from around the world, if you want to reach out, we'll certainly give you the ability to get in touch with Blair so he can come in your facility and talk to you about some of this stuff.
So for the record, I'm his agent for that.
Oh, okay.
Just call me Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money, right?
Well, they got these new NIL deals that everyone's talking about in college football. So
you never know. That's for
amazing.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we've been concerned about air quality for years. I mean, that's how we developed our AirX line, was all about indoor air quality. And it started off as an odor counteractant line and ended up being an infectious disease control line, which was really relevant during the last 3 years. And Scott, did you survive April 20th?
You mean 420? Yes. So we introduced a product at 420 in the afternoon on 420. And it just so happens the product is called AirX 420. How about that? What a coincidence. Who would have thought of that?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a new addition to the AirX brand. We're three-dimensional odor and pathogen control. And the unique thing about the RX 420 is it's fragrance-free, which all of our other products have some fragrance note along with the aeroside that they all contain. But this one's very interesting, and Mark, we probably don't need to go into the technical details, but you've mastered being able to say whatever that sulfur compound is. What's it called?
Penenthiol. So what it is actually the molecule that goes off into the air when people smoke cannabis primarily. And anybody that's ever tried to eliminate that odor from a hotel room or a bar or restaurant area where that might have been going on realizes how challenging it is. If you spray a fragrance into the air, the human nose is so sensitive, it picks up both. So you actually smell that smell of cannabis at the same time you smell, the fragrance package. And so the idea behind this was to have a very unique molecule that would bond to the sulfur molecule and change it so that it's just gone. So there is no like fragrance like lemon and baby powder or whatever. It's just gone. And people are like, how do you do that? And Blair and I know the secret to that. We always tell them, well, it's a trade secret. We're certified on this. We'd love to tell you, but we'd have to kill you. It's a trade secret, But the trade secret is all about science. And we do it through a really cool approach to science. And where that leverages out, Scott, is and obviously hotels worry about having to re-rent rooms and ozonate rooms and everything else. And, to have something liquid they can spray and re-rent their room is fantastic. But more importantly, Blair, you have a lot of friends that have been in the NFL and that are ex-NFL players that are in like the restaurant and food service industries. And,
yes.
a lot of them, the chefs are worried about using odor counteractants in the dining area because as you smell like a fragrance, it changes your taste of food. And so all of a sudden we found that this whole technology, which was really aimed at the smell of vaping and cannabis and flavored tobaccos and stuff, it actually had a brand new need or fulfilled a need that existed within the restaurants and diners.
I have some connections with some hotels now, and I have to really, let these guys know that we have a product that just released just recently that will give them that clean air that they're looking for with, the change in times with the use and legalization of cannabis in a lot of states.
Yep. So that's where the name came from, Blair, is that 420 was a term that was developed in California by a bunch of high school kids. And they decided that at 4:20 in the afternoon, they were going to go out and smoke a joint behind the dumpster.
I think they were doing it like every day.
They were doing it every day, but ultimately,
not like, hey, we have to wait another year before.
No, it started off as the time of day, like after class, I guess, and then it became like a national holiday on April 20th, but it was related to the time, and then it became 420 as a date. So the name 420 kind of rang true to that, which is why Scott was so dynamic about rolling it out on April 20th at 420. It was kind of
it's in stock and shipping now. So you can learn more about the product. We'll put a link below the Jancast video. So
did you send out a new email blast at 420 Eastern time, Central time, and Pacific time?
To
capture 420
along with everybody else's 420 email blast.
That was a lot of fun doing that rollout. The thing that's exciting to me is that the whole world has gotten so kind of engaged with things like surface cleanliness, but air cleanliness. And so we've been preoccupied with infectious disease control, and now we're starting to really look at the quality of the air in a lot of different ways, whether or not there's allergens, whether the filters are purifying the air as it passes through them, whether we're able to eliminate the odors in the air, whether we're staying away from VOCs, all that kind of stuff is very, very cool. And I think because of that, I think it means, are you ready for this, Blair? It means the future looks bright. So bright, we're going to need to wear shades.
Yes. Yes, it's with the way everything went, we had to change with the times, and now we got RX 420. I got access to filters for your home, your office, and things of that nature. So we have what people need to clean the air.
Yep. Good. Well, perfect segue out of the show because we're at about 20 minutes right now. So, Blair, thank you very much for joining us, and people will be looking out for you out on the street there, saying, "Blair, come here, show me how to do stuff." Right?
Yes. Well, I want to help people get back to work. That's the main thing. Why I got involved in indoor air quality. And how our relationship kind of developed is to try to get people back to work in a clean environment. Cool. A lot of people, we've lost a lot of people through different types of ailments, the last couple of years. So if we can do our part and clean the air, clean the surfaces, and with the things that you guys have and have created, give us an opportunity to help a lot of people with their building and ground needs.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Well, as I always like to tell people, the cleaning industry is quite humble and it's kind of below the radar screen. And when people ask me about it, I tell them the number one thing that we do is save lives, improve the quality of lives and save lives. And there's nothing more honorable than that in the whole world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you at the next show. But thanks very much, Blair, for joining us, and Mark. So everybody have a good, safe, clean day. Right?
Yes.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Scott.
Thank
Mark.
you, everybody.
See
Thank
y'all.
you, guys.